Chosen ones, listen closely. Allah is sending you a love warning today, and it is not a message to ignore. This is a call directly to your heart, a whisper from the Most Merciful, guiding you away from harm and toward your true destiny. You may feel it as a pull, a pause, or an uneasy feeling inside. These are not coincidences. They are signs of Allah's love protecting you, shaping your path, and preparing you for what is meant for you. Today, I will share 10 powerful lessons that will open your eyes, awaken your soul, and teach you how to recognize Allah's guidance in ways you may have never noticed before. Pay attention, because what you learn today could change your life forever. Chosen ones, understand this deeply. Every warning, every hesitation in your heart, every unease you feel is not a punishment from Allah. Rather, it is a profound expression of His love and mercy, a divine signal designed to protect your soul before harm reaches you. Just as a merciful parent gently stops a child from touching fire, Allah sends subtle warnings to guide you away from paths that would bring pain, loss, or spiritual harm. These warnings may appear as discomfort, sudden realizations, delayed opportunities, or even the quiet feeling that something is not right, and while your mind may try to reason it away, your heart senses the truth long before your mind understands it. The Quran reminds us, "Indeed, Allah is ever of what you do," seeing Surah Al-Baqarah 2-110, showing that nothing escapes His care, and every gentle nudge or pause in your life is an intimate act of divine love. The chosen ones are particularly attuned to these signals because Allah has prepared you for greatness, and His love will guide you in ways the world cannot understand, ways that may even appear mysterious, confusing, or uncomfortable at first. Yet every moment of unease is a shield, a protective barrier placed by the Most Merciful, and every whisper of caution is a blessing in disguise. If you ignore these warnings, you risk walking into unnecessary trials, setbacks, or heartbreak. But if you embrace them, if you listen with a heart that is open and attuned to Allah's signs, you will see that His love surrounds you constantly, that every warning is a roadmap to your ultimate success, your spiritual elevation, and your protection in both this life and the next. Chosen ones, this is the first truth to internalize. When Allah warns you, it is not punishment. It is love, a love that knows what you cannot yet see, a love that safeguards your heart, your path, and your destiny. Chosen ones, one of the most profound truths Allah grants His servants is the guidance of the heart, an inner compass that perceives what the mind cannot comprehend and senses the unseen realities before they become visible to the world around you. While your intellect may weigh options, rationalize situations, or seek proof through logic, it is your heart that feels the subtle nudges, the unease, or the pull that is meant to protect you, to guide you, and to prepare you for what Allah has decreed. These feelings may come as a quiet hesitation when interacting with people, an unexpected resistance to a decision that seems otherwise harmless, or a sudden clarity in moments of confusion. All of these are divine whispers, messages from the Most Merciful that your mind cannot yet fully interpret. The Prophet, peace be upon him, taught us that the heart can discern truth even when the eyes are blind and the mind is uncertain, and this is precisely why the chosen ones are uniquely sensitive to these subtle signals. When your heart pulls away from a person, a place, or a situation, it is not fear or doubt. It is Allah's love manifesting as protection, a shield around your soul, and a divine alert that you must heed. Trusting the heart over the mind requires faith, patience, and a deep connection with Allah through prayer, dhikr, and reflection, because the heart is the repository of divine knowledge that transcends logic and worldly reasoning. Those who ignore these signs often find themselves in turmoil, facing difficulties they could have avoided, while those who listen find a path paved with guidance, clarity, and inner peace, a path that Allah has prepared with precision for their growth, their purpose, and their ultimate success. Your heart knows what your mind cannot, chosen ones, because it is connected directly to Allah. It is attuned to His signs, and it is capable of sensing what the intellect alone cannot grasp: the subtle warnings, the hidden blessings, and the unseen guidance that will lead you to the destiny that only Allah sees, and only He knows how perfect it is for you. Embrace this divine gift, honor it, and let your heart be the guide that carries you through uncertainty. For it is through your heart that Allah speaks most intimately, most urgently, and most lovingly to you, preparing you for the challenges, the victories, and the purpose that await you in His perfect plan. Chosen ones, never forget that the tests, trials, and challenges you face in your life are not random misfortunes or punishments, but profound signs of Allah's love, mercy, and care, designed to elevate your soul, purify your heart, and prepare you for the greatness He has destined for you. Every obstacle, every moment of discomfort, every hardship, whether it be loss, delay, or uncertainty, is a subtle message from your Creator, reminding you that He is watching over you, protecting you, and shaping your destiny in ways that you cannot yet fully understand. The Qur'an teaches us, "Do not think of those who are killed in the way of Allah as dead. Rather, they are alive with their Lord." Receiving provision, Surah Al-Imran 3-169, and similarly, every trial you endure is an opportunity to rise spiritually, to gain insight, and to draw closer to Allah, who sees every tear, every sigh, and every hidden struggle that no one else notices. Chosen ones, these tests are not meant to break you, but to mold you into the person capable of carrying the weight of your purpose, the responsibilities of your destiny, and the blessings that Allah has already prepared for you. The struggles may feel heavy, the pain may seem endless, and the uncertainty may overwhelm your mind. But remember that every challenge is a divine act of care, a love warning that Allah has placed in your path to refine your character, strengthen your faith, and illuminate the unseen corridors of your life with guidance, protection, and mercy. Trust that the obstacles are calibrated perfectly to your strength, and that nothing you face is beyond your ability to endure with patience and reliance upon Allah. The chosen ones are the ones who perceive tests not as punishment, but as gifts, as messages of divine attention, and as proof that Allah has singled them out for a higher purpose. Each trial is a shield and a compass, a reminder that His love surrounds you even in the most difficult moments, and that the path He has laid before you, though sometimes steep and challenging, is the exact path that will lead to your elevation, your success, and your fulfillment in this life and the next. Embrace every test with gratitude, patience, and faith, knowing that each one is a manifestation of Allah's profound love, a message that He is intimately involved in your journey, and a sign that you are walking exactly where He wants you, being prepared for the extraordinary blessings and responsibilities that await the chosen ones. Chosen ones, one of the greatest lessons Allah teaches His servants is the profound power of detachment, a sacred ability to let go of people, places, desires, and situations that no longer serve the purpose He has destined for you, and to do so with a heart full of trust in His divine wisdom. Detachment is not abandonment, nor is it coldness. It is a divine shield, a protective mechanism granted by Allah to preserve your heart, your faith, and your ultimate destiny from the harm that often lies hidden behind seemingly appealing attachments. There are people who appear as blessings but carry poison, There are opportunities that seem golden but hide trials, and there are desires that glitter with temptation but lead the soul into darkness, and the heart of the chosen ones senses this before the mind can rationalize it. When you feel a subtle pull away from someone or something, when doors close unexpectedly, when comfort slips away and unease fills the space, these are not signs of failure, but signs of divine love. Gentle nudges from the most merciful, protecting you from what you cannot yet see. Detachment is a form of obedience. It is a spiritual alignment with Allah's will, a surrender to His perfect knowledge that knows your path more clearly than you ever could. The Qur'an reminds us, "And it may be that you dislike a thing which is good for you, and that you like a thing which is bad for you. Allah knows, while you know not." Surah Al-Baqarah 2-216, illustrating that what your heart pulls you away from is often precisely what Allah is shielding you from, and what He guides you toward is what your soul is truly meant to embrace. This detachment may feel painful, uncomfortable, or even lonely, because the world teaches us to cling, to possess, to grasp at everything that brings temporary comfort. But the chosen ones understand that clinging blindly can blind the soul to Allah's guidance. Detachment is the quiet courage to trust in Allah's plan, to release what is harmful, and to maintain your heart's purity so that you are ready to receive what is divinely destined for you. Every time you let go of a harmful attachment, you are making space for mercy, blessings, and guidance to enter your life in a way that aligns perfectly with your purpose. Chosen ones, detachment does not mean rejection of love, kindness, or responsibility. It means you are discerning, protecting the sacredness of your heart, and following the path Allah has prepared for you with faith and patience. When you practice detachment, you begin to notice the subtle ways Allah guides you. Doors open where there were walls, clarity replaces confusion, and peace replaces anxiety. You begin to realize that the unease you felt in the past was a divine warning, and the heartache was a mercy that saved you from greater harm. Detachment is a shield that safeguards your spiritual journey, a key that unlocks your highest potential, and a test of faith that proves your reliance on Allah alone. The chosen ones are those who understand that holding on is not always strength, and letting go is not always weakness sometimes. True strength is surrendering to Allah, trusting His wisdom, and stepping back so that His love can guide your steps. When you detach from what harms and embrace the guidance that Allah provides, you are walking a path of protection, elevation, and divine alignment, ensuring that every blessing, every opportunity, and every relationship you encounter is perfectly suited to the heart that Allah has crafted, a heart that is ready to fulfill its purpose and shine as a beacon for others in this world. So, chosen ones, embrace detachment as an act of love, not just for yourself, but as an act of obedience to Allah, a form of spiritual intelligence, and a key to walking safely, confidently, and purposefully on the path He has chosen for you. Chosen ones, one of the most subtle yet profound ways Allah communicates His love and guidance is through the silence of the heart, a quiet stillness that may feel like emptiness, hesitation, or pause, but in reality is a loud warning, a divine signal meant to capture your attention before harm reaches you, or before your soul strays from the path Allah has prepared for you. This silence can manifest in moments of unexpected unease, in sudden disinterest in what once brought comfort, in a hesitation to move forward with a decision that seems logical, or in an inexplicable feeling that something is not right, even when everything appears outwardly perfect. Many fail to recognize this silence because the world teaches us to seek noise, distraction, and constant activity, yet the chosen ones are attuned to the quiet whispers of their soul, the subtle nudges that awaken them to truths their minds cannot yet fully comprehend. The Quran reminds us, "Indeed, your Lord is ever watchful." Surah Al-Mu'min 40-64. And in that watchfulness, Allah often chooses stillness, silence, and subtle feelings to warn His servants, knowing that the heart can perceive what the mind cannot, and that these signals, if heeded, can prevent trials, pain, and spiritual misalignment. The silence of the heart is not emptiness. It is divine communication, a message wrapped in stillness, urging you to pause, reflect, pray, and seek Allah's guidance before proceeding. Chosen ones, when you feel this quiet resistance, this inner hesitation, or this peaceful discomfort, do not dismiss it as doubt, fear, or overthinking. It is Allah speaking directly to the core of your being, offering protection, guidance, and care in a manner that only the heart can understand. He knows that humans are often drawn to what is visible, tangible, and immediate, but the unseen world, the divine plan, and the hidden consequences of our choices are far more important than what our senses reveal, and this is why He often communicates through silence rather than noise. The heart's quiet warnings are a form of mercy, a shield from unseen harm, and a gentle tug toward what is best for your soul, even when it contradicts your desires or what appears beneficial in the worldly sense. To ignore this silence is to risk walking into trials unnecessarily, to miss the protective hand of Allah, and to experience outcomes that could have been avoided by a moment of reflection, prayer, and trust. Yet, when you honor the silence, when you pause to listen, when you bring your heart before Allah in humility and trust, you will find clarity, guidance, and the reassurance that every decision you make aligns with His perfect wisdom. Chosen ones, this silence is also a test of faith, a challenge to trust Allah without seeing the full picture, to rely on Him rather than the logic of the world, and to obey the subtle call of the heart over the loud demands of the ego or society. The quiet hesitation you feel is not weakness. It is divine love, a sacred pause, a moment for your soul to realign with Allah's plan, and a warning that your heart is listening to Him before it is too late. When you respond to this silence with prayer, reflection, and patience, you are not only protecting yourself from harm, but you are also cultivating a deeper connection with Allah, sharpening your spiritual awareness, and becoming attuned to the signs and guidance that will shape your destiny in ways that exceed your imagination. Remember, chosen ones, the loudest warnings from Allah often arrive in the quietest moments, in the stillness between breaths, in the pauses between decisions, and in the subtle feelings that stir your heart. Listen to them, honor them, and allow them to guide you, because in the silence of the heart, you will find protection, clarity, and the unmistakable voice of Allah's love calling you closer to the path He has destined for you. Chosen ones, one of the most profound truths that Allah imparts to His beloved servants is that every obstacle, delay, or challenge in your life is not a punishment or a denial of your desires, but a precise, divinely orchestrated mechanism designed to reveal what is truly meant for you, to refine your purpose, and to distinguish the blessings that are yours from the illusions that only appear to be so. Life's trials, disappointments, and barriers often arrive unexpectedly, halting your progress, frustrating your plans, or testing your patience. And while the human mind may perceive them as misfortune or failure, the heart of the chosen ones knows that each obstacle is a love warning, a gentle yet firm nudge from the most merciful to redirect your attention, to protect your soul, and to prepare you for the destiny that only Allah sees. The Quran reminds us, "And it may be that you dislike a thing which is good for you, and that you like a thing which is bad for you. Allah knows, while you know not, Surah Al-Baqarah 2-216, highlighting that what you desire most is not always what Allah intends for your elevation, and what you may resist or struggle with could be the very thing that shapes your ultimate success, growth, and spiritual maturity. Chosen ones, obstacles are not meant to break you, they are meant to refine you. They are the divine sculptor's chisel, removing what is unnecessary, imperfect, or harmful, so that the masterpiece of your purpose may emerge in its full glory. When a door closes abruptly, when your plans are delayed, when people disappoint you, or when circumstances seem stacked against you, remember that Allah's love is at work, carefully distinguishing between what is meant for your soul and what would lead to loss, compromise, or spiritual distraction. Those who trust only in appearances, who pursue every opportunity or attachment without reflection, may walk into what seems good but is harmful. Yet the chosen ones recognize the wisdom behind every test, every obstacle, and every delay. They understand that the things Allah removes, prevents, or delays are not denials, but protections, and that what eventually arrives often in unexpected ways, times, and forms is precisely what is aligned with their destiny, their purpose, and their growth. The trials you face also reveal the strength, patience, and faith within you, chosen ones. They illuminate your inner resilience, refine your character, and demonstrate the depth of your reliance on Allah. For when everything goes according to plan without resistance, the soul does not grow. It is in the tension, the struggle, and the temporary loss that spiritual maturity flourishes. Moreover, obstacles purify your intentions, ensuring that when blessings arrive, they are received with gratitude, humility, and a heart fully devoted to Allah rather than tainted by arrogance, entitlement, or haste. Chosen ones, every delay, difficulty, and closed door serves a divine purpose. It distinguishes what is truly yours from what is not. It protects you from hidden harm, and it prepares you to receive Allah's gifts in their perfect timing and in the most beneficial form. These challenges are also love warnings. Allah is teaching you patience, discernment, and reliance upon Him, showing you that the life He has prepared for you is precise, intentional, and unmatched in its perfection, even if it appears confusing or slow to your human perception. The obstacles are often accompanied by subtle signs, moments of clarity, inner nudges, or a sense of peace. When choosing one path over another, these are Allah's indicators, guiding you toward what belongs to you and away from what would derail your journey. Chosen ones, do not curse delays, frustrations, or barriers, for they are your allies, your protectors, and your divine teachers. Every obstacle carries a lesson, every delay a blessing, and every challenge a preparation for a future that exceeds your imagination. The things that eventually come to you will arrive not because you fought the hardest or forced the most, but because Allah has deemed them perfectly suited to your heart, your purpose, and your destiny. Trust in this divine orchestration, chosen ones. Recognize that nothing you face is meaningless, and that every barrier, every setback, and every trial is a love warning, a safeguard, and a divine sign that you are walking exactly the path Allah has prepared for you. In the end, what is truly yours will find its way to you effortlessly, while what is not meant for you will remain distant, no matter how much you desire it. And this is the mercy of Allah to reveal through obstacles, struggles, and tests that His wisdom is perfect, His love is constant, and His plan is far greater than what your eyes can see or your mind can imagine. Every trial, every delay, every obstacle is therefore a sacred message. Be patient, trust in Allah, and know that what He allows, guides, or prevents is always in accordance with what is truly yours, and that the chosen ones are always being prepared for the blessings, responsibilities, and elevations that only He can bestow. Chosen ones, one of the most profound realities of life that Allah teaches His devoted servants is that discomfort, unease, and moments of inner tension are not signs of neglect, misfortune, or failure, but rather subtle yet powerful expressions of divine love, protective signals from Allah Himself, designed to shield you, guide you, and prepare you for the destiny He has meticulously crafted for you. While the world teaches comfort, convenience, and the pursuit of ease as the ultimate markers of success, the hearts of the chosen ones understand that true guidance often comes wrapped in trials, in challenges, and in the very discomfort that awakens your awareness to what is real, pure, and aligned with your purpose. These moments of unease, whether they appear as hesitation, inner resistance, restlessness, or confusion, are not to be feared or ignored. They are Allah's way of protecting you from unseen harm, from paths that may seem appealing to the eye, but carry subtle dangers for your soul, your faith, or your spiritual growth. The Qur'an reminds us that Allah is always watching, always knowing, and always guiding. And it may be that you dislike a thing which is good for you, and that you like a thing which is bad for you. Allah knows while you know not. Surah Al-Baqarah 2-216, illustrating that discomfort is often a divine tool to redirect your attention, sharpen your discernment, and cultivate reliance upon Him. Chosen ones, divine love does not always arrive in gentle whispers of joy or visible blessings. Sometimes it arrives as a subtle unrest in your heart, a discomfort that interrupts complacency, challenges your assumptions, and awakens you to the reality that your growth, your purpose, and your mission require more than passive acceptance. They require attentiveness, patience, and trust. When you face discomfort, when your plans are delayed, when relationships feel strained, or when opportunities seem obstructed, do not despair or assume it is a punishment. For this unease is a protective shield, a warning that guides you away from what is detrimental and toward what is beneficial, not just for your worldly life, but for your eternal well-being. The chosen ones are particularly sensitive to these signals because Allah has prepared their hearts to perceive what others cannot, to sense the subtle warnings embedded in circumstances, and to respond in a manner that aligns with divine wisdom. These moments of unease are also invitations to deepen your connection with Allah, to seek Him in prayer, to reflect on His guidance, to purify your intentions, and to trust that every feeling, every pause, and every disruption is purposeful, intentional, and ultimately merciful. It is through discomfort that you are trained to let go of attachments that could harm your soul, to cultivate patience that strengthens your character, and to develop faith that is not contingent upon ease but anchored in unwavering trust in the most merciful. The Prophet, peace be upon him, demonstrated that challenges, trials, and moments of tension are not obstacles to blessings, but channels through which divine wisdom flows, preparing the heart for elevation, safeguarding the spirit, and nurturing resilience, humility, and deep reliance upon Allah. Chosen ones, every moment of discomfort is therefore a sacred act of protection, a love warning that Allah has placed before you to prevent harm, illuminate truth, and align you with your destiny in ways that your eyes cannot yet see and your mind cannot yet comprehend. Those who ignore these moments often walk into difficulties, regrets, and outcomes that could have been avoided, yet those who heed the discomfort, who reflect, pray, and trust in Allah's plan, find themselves guided to clarity, serenity, and opportunities that are perfectly matched to their purpose and capacity. Divine love often works quietly, subtly, and sometimes in ways that feel inconvenient or painful, Yet it is precisely in these moments that the chosen ones are being molded, refined, and protected. Every hesitation, every unease, every moment that challenges your comfort is a divine gift, a shield against harm, and a guiding light toward what is meant for your heart, your mission, and your spiritual elevation. Chosen ones, embrace discomfort as a form of divine care. Recognize it as a love warning, and respond with trust, patience, and obedience to Allah, knowing that He sees what you cannot see, knows what you do not know, and protects you in ways that surpass human understanding, ensuring that every step, every challenge, and every pause is preparing you for a life of purpose, fulfillment, and divine alignment that is uniquely yours and that no one else can replicate. Chosen ones, one of the most transformative realizations that Allah grants His devoted servants is the understanding that the world around you is never silent, that every moment, every event, every encounter, and every seemingly ordinary occurrence carries divine messages, subtle nudges, and love warnings meant to guide you along the path that Allah has destined for you. Signs from Allah are everywhere, but they require perception, attentiveness, and a heart that is attuned to the unseen. They do not always come as grand miracles or dramatic revelations, but often arrive quietly, hidden in the details of life, in the pauses of conversation, in the delays of opportunity, or in the feelings that stir within you when something feels off or unexpectedly right. The chosen ones are trained to recognize these signs, to interpret the subtle whispers of Allah, and to discern the divine orchestration behind events that others dismiss as coincidence or chance. The Qur'an reminds us, "And we will show them our signs in the horizons and within themselves until it becomes clear to them that it is the truth." Surah Fussilat 40, 1-53. Teaching us that every aspect of creation, every pattern in the natural world, every human interaction, and every internal sensation can serve as a mirror reflecting the guidance, wisdom, and love of Allah if one has the eyes to see and the heart to understand. Chosen ones. These signs are not mere curiosities or random occurrences, they are divine communications, tailored specifically for you, designed to protect you from harm, redirect you when necessary, and reassure you when you feel lost, uncertain, or overwhelmed. They may appear as a sudden delay in plans that you thought were essential, as a chance encounter that shifts your perspective, as a subtle feeling of hesitation that urges caution, or as an intuitive certainty that confirms a path is right. All of these are part of Allah's intimate dialogue with your soul. The world often teaches us to ignore these subtle signals, to chase what is visible, tangible, and immediate. But the heart of the chosen ones knows that the divine map is layered, intricate, and often hidden from the ordinary eye, and that failure to notice these signs can lead to setbacks, heartbreak, or missed opportunities that could have been avoided by a single moment of reflection and attentiveness. These signs are also love warnings, not in the form of punishment or fear, but in the form of guidance, mercy, and protection, ensuring that you are always aligned with the path Allah has ordained for you, even if it diverges from your own plans, expectations, or desires. Observing these signs requires mindfulness, dhikr, prayer, and reflection, a constant awareness that your life is not random, that every delay, every coincidence, and every encounter carries meaning, and that the unseen world is actively orchestrating events to bring you closer to your purpose. Chosen ones, the ability to perceive signs is both a blessing and a responsibility. It requires you to maintain purity of intention, clarity of vision, and trust in Allah's plan, knowing that nothing is wasted, nothing is meaningless, and that even the smallest detail can carry profound lessons for your growth, guidance, and spiritual elevation. The signs can be subtle, like the sudden intuition that cautions you against a decision, the quiet inner pull toward a person or place, or the gentle feelings that awaken you to what is harmful or beneficial. And they can also be grand, like the unfolding of events that redirect your life in ways you never anticipated but were meant to be. Every moment, chosen ones, is layered with meaning. The traffic that delays your journey, the conversation that sparks a realization, the encounter that changes your perspective, or the dream that leaves you unsettled, all are signs, markers, and messages waiting for you to notice, reflect, and respond. Recognizing these signs is not passive. It requires engagement, patience, and humility, an acknowledgement that your understanding is limited while Allah's wisdom is infinite, and that every whisper of the unseen is crafted for your protection, elevation, and guidance. The chosen ones who heed these signs are led away from paths that would bring pain or misguidance toward the opportunities, relationships, and blessings that are perfectly suited to their heart, mission, and destiny. These signs, when perceived and acted upon, confirm that you are not alone, that Allah is intimately involved in your journey, and that every element of your life, no matter how small, is a reflection of His wisdom and mercy. Ignoring these signs, however, risks missteps, confusion, and setbacks, while responding to them with faith, awareness, and submission allows you to align perfectly with Allah's plan, to navigate life with clarity, and to recognize that the universe itself is a mirror of divine intention, speaking directly to you if you have the eyes and heart to see. Chosen ones, let your heart remain vigilant, your mind reflective, and your soul attentive, because signs are everywhere, in every moment, and for those who truly look and listen, they are a direct, loving, and protective communication from Allah, guiding you to your destiny, warning you of what is harmful, and revealing what is meant to bless, elevate, and fulfill you. The world may appear chaotic, confusing, or unpredictable, but when you understand that signs are everywhere, chosen ones, you begin to see the hand of Allah in every detail, the wisdom behind every event, and the love that is woven into every pause, hesitation, and subtle feeling in your life, preparing you to receive the ultimate blessings, opportunities, and divine rewards that are uniquely and perfectly yours. Chosen ones, one of the most essential yet overlooked lessons that Allah imparts to His beloved servants is the necessity of protecting your heart through conscious, deliberate boundaries, a sacred act of preservation, love, and spiritual intelligence that ensures your soul, your purpose, and your divine connection remain unharmed amidst the trials, distractions, and tests of this world. The heart is the vessel through which Allah communicates with His servants. It senses His guidance, perceives His signs, and receives the subtle whispers of wisdom that the mind cannot always grasp. Yet it is also the most vulnerable to harm, manipulation, and intrusion when left unguarded. People, situations, and desires can appear appealing, comforting, or necessary, yet if they are misaligned with Allah's will, they have the potential to destabilize your faith, disrupt your focus, and divert you from the destiny He has meticulously prepared for you. The Qur'an reminds us of the profound importance of guarding our inner state. Do not follow what you have no knowledge of. Indeed, the hearing, the sight, and the heart about all those one will be questioned, Surah Al-Isra 17:36, highlighting that the heart is accountable, sacred, and in need of conscious protection because it is the center of spiritual perception, discernment, and divine receptivity. Chosen ones, conscious boundaries are not signs of distrust, fear, or arrogance. They are a form of obedience to Allah, an act of spiritual clarity, and a recognition that your heart is too precious to expose to those environments or attachments that could diminish its purity, cloud its perception, or distort its alignment with divine guidance. Setting these boundaries requires awareness, courage, and self-discipline, because the world often tempts us to overextend ourselves emotionally, to compromise our values for acceptance, or to remain connected to individuals and situations that no longer serve our growth. Yet the chosen ones understand that true love, both for Allah and for oneself, requires saying no when necessary, stepping away when guided, and protecting the sanctity of the heart above all else. The process of establishing boundaries is also a form of listening to Allah's love warnings, to the subtle nudges, hesitations, and unease that arise when something is not aligned with your path. When you honor these signals and create space for yourself, you cultivate resilience, clarity, and peace, allowing your heart to remain focused on the purpose, mission, and responsibilities that Allah has uniquely entrusted to you. Without boundaries, the heart becomes susceptible to distraction, emotional turmoil, and spiritual depletion. Yet with boundaries, it becomes fortified, attuned, and capable of receiving the blessings, guidance, and protection that Allah desires for His chosen ones. Chosen ones, conscious boundaries do not isolate you from the world or from compassion. Rather, they enhance your ability to give and receive love appropriately, to serve without losing yourself, and to navigate relationships, opportunities, and challenges with wisdom, discernment, and grace. Allah has designed the heart to perceive subtle guidance, yet He also teaches that discernment is necessary to differentiate between what nourishes the soul and what threatens it. By protecting your heart through intentional limits, you honor the divine communication embedded within it, you safeguard your spiritual growth, and you prepare yourself to engage with the world in a manner that amplifies blessings rather than exposes you to harm. Chosen ones, this sacred practice is especially vital in times of deception, distraction, and chaos, when the allure of the temporary, the familiar, or the comfortable can cloud judgment and blind you to the wisdom that your heart is capable of perceiving. Boundaries serve as markers of spiritual integrity, reminders that your heart is a treasure entrusted to you by Allah, and that it must be nurtured, preserved, and shielded with conscious attention. The Prophet, peace be upon him, demonstrated that protecting the heart from what is harmful is a cornerstone of spiritual discipline, for he taught that the soul's alignment with Allah's guidance depends upon its clarity, purity, and resilience in the face of external influences. Chosen ones, protecting your heart is not passive. It is an active, deliberate, and sacred responsibility that requires courage, reflection, and unwavering reliance on Allah's wisdom. It requires saying no to what is harmful, distancing yourself from influences that distort your perception, and cultivating an inner environment where your faith, purpose, and divine connection can flourish. By doing so, you create a sanctuary for your heart, where Allah's guidance, mercy, and love can enter freely, and where the subtle signs, warnings, and nudges meant to protect you can be clearly perceived and acted upon. This protection ensures that when trials arise, when relationships challenge you, and when worldly distractions attempt to derail your path, your heart remains steadfast, discerning, and aligned with Allah's will. Chosen ones, conscious boundaries are therefore an act of profound love for Allah, for your soul, and for the sacred mission you carry in this world. They are a shield against harm, a gateway to clarity, and a prerequisite for receiving the blessings and responsibilities that Allah has uniquely reserved for you. Every boundary you set, every moment you honor your heart's guidance, and every decision to prioritize divine alignment over temporary gratification strengthens your spiritual armor, sharpens your perception, and affirms your place among those who are chosen, protected, and guided by Allah's infinite wisdom and mercy. In essence, protecting your heart is the ultimate form of obedience, trust, and love. Obedience to Allah's guidance, trust in His perfect plan, and love for the soul. He has entrusted to you a love that manifests in clarity, strength, resilience, and the unwavering ability to recognize and follow the divine signs that surround you at every moment of your life. Chosen ones, one of the most profound and transformative truths that Allah imparts to His beloved servants is that ultimate peace, guidance, and fulfillment are found in complete trust in Him, paired with a heart that responds not with fear, resentment, or frustration, but with love, gratitude, and surrender to His infinite wisdom and mercy. Trust in Allah is not a passive act. It is a conscious, courageous choice to release control over outcomes, to abandon reliance on worldly understanding, and to anchor the heart firmly in the certainty that He, the all-knowing and most merciful, orchestrates every event, every encounter, every delay, and every blessing with a precision that transcends human comprehension. Chosen ones, the journey of the heart is not always linear, and the path you walk may be littered with tests, obstacles, and moments of uncertainty, yet each of these moments is a call to deepen your trust, to align your intentions, and to respond with love. Love for Allah, love for His guidance, and love for the self He has entrusted to you. The Qur'an reminds us, and rely upon Allah, and sufficient is Allah as disposer of affairs. Surah Al-Ahzab 33-3, showing that reliance is not a weakness, but the most powerful form of strength, for it frees you from the anxiety of trying to control what only Allah controls, while opening your heart to perceive the divine signs, mercy, and wisdom that are always present, even when the world appears chaotic or incomprehensible. Trusting Allah completely means embracing the pauses, delays, and detours in your life as intentional, meaningful, and protective, recognizing that what He withholds is often a shield, what He redirects is often a blessing, and what He permits is always aligned with your ultimate purpose, growth, and spiritual elevation. The chosen ones are those who perceive this truth deeply. They understand that love and trust are inseparable, that responding to life's trials with patience and faith strengthens the heart, and that surrendering to Allah's plan does not signify passivity, but demonstrates the highest level of spiritual intelligence, courage, and alignment with divine will. Responding with love means choosing compassion over resentment, gratitude over frustration, patience over despair, and surrender over control, even when circumstances appear overwhelming, confusing, or unfair. It is an acknowledgement that Allah's wisdom surpasses human perception, that His timing is perfect, and that every blessing, test, and moment of uncertainty carries divine intent designed to protect, guide, and elevate you in ways you may not yet comprehend. The Prophet, peace be upon him, exemplified this truth in his life. His unwavering trust in Allah, even in the most challenging moments, his patience in the face of trials, and his consistent response of love, mercy, and forgiveness toward others demonstrate that true reliance on Allah is inseparable from the love that flows from a heart aligned with Him. Chosen ones, complete trust transforms challenges into lessons, setbacks into guidance, and uncertainty into opportunity, because when the heart relies solely on Allah, it becomes resilient, perceptive, and attuned to the signs and whispers that the mind cannot always decipher. Love, then, becomes the natural response to this trust. Love for the one who protects, love for the journey He designs, and love for the self He nurtures, disciplines, and elevates through each test and trial. This love is not sentimental or passive. It is active, intentional, and empowering, allowing the chosen ones to navigate life with grace, patience, and clarity, while remaining deeply connected to their purpose and divine mission. Trusting Allah completely also requires letting go of attachments, fears, and expectations, understanding that He knows what is best for your heart, your soul, and your destiny, even when your desires, plans, or understanding seem urgent or justified. It demands surrender of the ego, reliance on divine wisdom, and the courage to follow the guidance of your heart, even when the path is uncertain or the world pressures you to choose otherwise. Chosen ones, responding with love in this context is revolutionary. It allows you to act with integrity, to forgive with humility, to serve with sincerity, and to engage with the world without fear of harm, rejection, or betrayal, because your foundation rests not on people, outcomes, or material certainty, but on Allah Himself, the all-knowing, the protector, and the sustainer. The heart that trusts Allah completely becomes impervious to deception, resilient in the face of trials, and capable of discerning the subtle warnings and guidance that others overlook, allowing the chosen ones to navigate life's complexities with a balance of patience, clarity, and spiritual awareness. In this trust, the heart recognizes that love is not just an emotion, but a conscious response, a reflection of the inner alignment with Allah's wisdom and a manifestation of faith in action. Every challenge faced, every delay encountered, every moment of uncertainty becomes an opportunity to deepen reliance on Him, to cultivate patience, and to respond with love that is anchored in gratitude, humility, and certainty that Allah's plan is perfect. Chosen ones, the ultimate secret of peace, fulfillment, and divine elevation lies in this union of trust and love. Trust in Allah's perfect plan, His infinite wisdom, and His encompassing mercy, coupled with a heart that responds with love, compassion, and obedience, even in the face of trials that test the soul, challenge perception, and stretch patience. This combination creates a spiritual immunity against despair, misguidance, and misfortune, allowing the chosen ones to walk through life confidently, aligned with their purpose, and constantly attuned to the guidance, mercy, and love that Allah provides at every step of their journey. Trust Allah completely, chosen ones, and respond with love. Let this be the guiding principle of your heart, the foundation of your decisions, and the lens through which you perceive every blessing, every test, and every encounter, because in doing so, you not only protect your soul, align with divine wisdom, and prepare for your elevated destiny, but you also become a living testament to Allah's mercy, love, and perfect guidance in a world that so often moves blindly, unseeing, and disconnected from the profound messages that He is continuously sending to those who choose to look, listen, and trust. Chosen ones, as we reach the end of this journey through these 10 powerful lessons, remember this: Allah has not spoken to you through trials, warnings, or whispers without reason. Every moment of discomfort, every pause in your path, every subtle sign, and every love warning you have felt was a divine message meant to prepare, protect, and elevate you. You are not here by accident. Your heart, your soul, and your purpose have been carefully crafted and guided by Allah's infinite wisdom. The obstacles you have faced, the detachment you have practiced, the silences you have noticed, the discomforts you have endured, and the boundaries you have set, all of these are acts of divine preparation, aligning you with the life, mission, and destiny that Allah has destined only for you. Do not underestimate your own resilience, your perception, or your heart's ability to sense what others cannot. You are the chosen ones, and every love warning, every test, and every divine sign is proof that Allah sees you, cares for you, and is molding you for a future that will not only elevate your soul, but also inspire, guide, and protect those around you. Walk forward with trust in Him, knowing that nothing is wasted, nothing is accidental, and nothing is beyond His perfect wisdom. Respond to every challenge, every pause, and every sign with love, for love aligned with divine guidance is the most powerful force in the universe. Chosen ones, let these lessons settle deep in your heart. Trust Allah completely, protect your soul with conscious boundaries, embrace detachment, listen to the silence, and recognize that every obstacle, delay, and discomfort is a blessing in disguise, a love warning, and a step toward your highest purpose. Your heart knows what your mind cannot. Your path is guided even in unseen ways, and your destiny is divinely secured. Walk with courage, clarity, and love, and know that Allah's mercy surrounds you. His guidance illuminates your path, and His love will always be the compass that directs you toward greatness. Remember, the world may try to confuse, distract, or test you, but the chosen ones are never lost, never alone, and always guided by the one who knows what is best. Stand firm, respond with love, and embrace the divine plan that is unfolding around you, because the life, the purpose, and the destiny that await you are beyond anything your heart has yet imagined.